When is Molly Qerim going to learn that she's a moderator of First Take? Every time she gets into these heated debates and these discussions with the panelists, she always gets embarrassed. She always gets insulted. The latest incident happened on ESPN First Take when they was talking about Bill Belichick. But before we get off into today's podcast, tell a friend to tell a friend. Well, guys, it seems to me that Molly Qerim can never catch a break. Every time on First Take, when they get into a heated debate, she always thinks it's her right to interject and say things that really, piss some of the panelists off. Now, I know she's the moderator of First Take, but we've seen a lot of incidents that Molly Qerim has placed herself in when it comes to the heated debates. And as a moderator, your job is to moderate the show, not to really participate in the heated debates where you get yourself embarrassed and sometimes insulted to almost to where you feel like you're getting emotional and you're about to shed a tear on national television. Now, Molly Qerim been around for a long time with First Take, riding with Stephen A. Smith. And it seems like they have a nice business relationship. I think their relationship might go outside of the show because, when she was married to Jalen Rose, a lot of people were saying that Stephen A. Smith was probably the cause of it, that Molly Qerim and Stephen A. Smith was having a secret affair, outside of the office and things like that. But that was never known to be true. That was just the rumors, and that was what the rumor mill was spreading. But other than that, Molly Qerim, she does a good job as a moderator, but sometimes when she steps off into the arena and gets into these discussions with the guys that are professionals that do their job, she gets embarrassed. So yesterday on First Take, they was talking about the hire of Bill Belichick for North Carolina Tar Heels football program. And Stephen A. Smith was making some valid points. And Molly Qerim, she went on this little tangent about some things about Stephen A. Smith. He don't like, small markets. He always is advocating for, the Lakers to upgrade their roster to help LeBron out and, things like that. They was talking about Colorado and, the way Stephen A. was saying that, Colorado, Dion took that program and he built that program. But it's almost like Bill Belichick of the NFL. That's what we known Bill Belichick for, the NFL with the New England Patriots, how, they put together a storied franchise alongside of Tom Brady. So when it came to Bill Belichick being hired by North Carolina Tar Heels, Stephen A. Smith just basically thought it was like a low ball. Why is he going to North Carolina? So let me bring y'all guys up to speed on what happened yesterday on First Take when it came between Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerim. Let's roll the footage.
Trying to tell me people are going to be excited to watch Carolina against the schedule that I just read to you?
I think you're completely wrong. Colorado was terrible before Deion Sanders got there, and it became appointment viewing. True football fans, this is going to be appointment viewing to see what Bill Belichick does. I think you're 100% wrong on this.
Molly, respectfully, I don't care. Let me be very, very clear. I don't care, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it's only going to last. He ain't prime time in terms of personality. Bill Belichick is going to go back to being the Bill Belichick we saw with the New England Patriots. Year one, we'll watch him. But after that, please stop it.
As long as you win, and they're going to watch. The whole time he was in New England, everybody tuned in.
Did people not watch Clemson?
You know that, Jay.
Did people not watch Clemson with Dabo Swinney when they were rolling?
It's not sexy enough for you. Stephen A's all about box office. He wants every free agent to go to the Lakers. He hates small markets. It's just not sexy enough for him.
He hates small markets.
So this is through Steve. This is through. And it's like every time there's a good player that's in like Milwaukee or wherever, you're like, bring him to New York. Go to the Knicks. Go to the Lakers. Let's have LeBron and Steph play together. No, let me finish my point. You don't care about small markets, and for you, it's always box office. You're a New Yorker that's an Alabama fan. It's just not sexy enough for you, but you're seeing it through your lens and not through all football players. I know you don't care about my opinion.
That doesn't give you a license to misrepresent me. That doesn't give you. I like Alabama. I watch college basketball all the time. Kentucky, North Carolina, stuff like that. Those ain't large markets. You're wrong, Molly. I didn't even get to finish my point. Just because I'm a diehard Knicks fan because I'm a native New Yorker. And I brag about L.A. and Miami because that's where I want to be in June. I ain't apologizing for that to nobody. But that doesn't mean I hate small markets. That doesn't mean I hate small markets. There's plenty of small market teams that I like. In college football, I said the schedule. In the end, it's compelling. It's not just about who you are, but who you're going up against. It matters. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Why are we acting like that's false? It's not false.
So I'm just curious, is Colorado's schedule was really compelling for you, like before Deion got there?
No, it wasn't, which is why I said I wanted Prime in the SEC or the Big Ten, if you remember.
Got it. But did you continue to watch his games anyway, or did you just watch a couple and then you stopped?
Like
you're going to do with Bill Belichick.
He said no.
I didn't watch him all the time. I watched him against stiff competition.
But Stephen A., I don't think anyone's disagreeing with your premise of you want to see the marquee matchup every weekend.
Yes.
There's a reason why Jimmy Pitaro and Burke Magnus went and got the SEC package. We are all aware of that. But Georgia wasn't moving on from Kirby Smart, and Texas wasn't moving on from Steve Sarkisian, and Bama just hired DeBoer. So
I wasn't using. You're being too specific.
Now, why does Molly keep putting herself in situations like that, man? Molly needs a reality check, man. I don't know who Molly Qerim thinks she is, man. She's a moderator. She needs to know her job. Sometimes people get disgusted on how Molly inserts herself into these heated discussions and always, gets insulted and, always wants to play victim and cry that, people are mistreating her, man. But, sometimes when you get in heated debates like this with, the panelists and people that are, providing the education for people to understand on what they're talking about. And Molly always want to interject and put her 2 cents in there. Man, you got to understand something, guys. Molly is the moderator of the show. She is not one of the debaters. She is not a panelist. She is the one that's supposed to keep everything in check, keep everything copacetic. And if it gets out of line, she needs to reel them back. But Molly thinks that she's part of the panel where she can give her input and her take. I don't mind her stepping in here and there, but when it comes to stuff like this, and like Stephen A. said, you're misquoting me. Molly, gets on the defensive side where she wants to act like, people are attacking her. But Stephen A. Smith, once again, man, had to put Molly Qerim in her place. Now, we've seen Shannon Sharp put her in her place, Dominique Foxworth, Ryan Clark. We've seen it. We've seen the outbursts on what Molly Qerim is doing. And a lot of people always commented and said, no wonder why Jalen Rose divorced her. I think Molly has a lot of masculine energy, man, where she comes across like she wants to be dominant, in every debate and every heated discussion, but that's not your job. You're the moderator. Sometimes you got to fall back and know your job on the show. And a lot of people are trying to figure out how Molly Qerim has stuck around as long as she has. And a lot of people come to this conclusion is that, First Take got to have some type of thing where people can look at and you got some type of eye candy that you can look at. But at the same time, I just think Molly needs to stay in her place. Molly just needs to be the moderator of the show. Let the panelists get into these heated discussions. Let these men go back and forth, because it's a thing that when these men are boisterous against women, that's a bad look. And Molly be eagering them on to do so. So Molly, just fall back. So you guys let me know what y'all think about today's podcast. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. I see everybody in the comments section. #salute. And that's going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.